Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The United Kingdom has often gone unnoticed, tucked away in jars, wallets, or forgotten drawers. Yet, in the year 2009, a remarkable version of this coin was struck that would later become the center of attention for collectors across the globe. This was no ordinary penny. It was the Elizabeth II 1 penny of 2009, a coin that bridged the legacy of centuries-old tradition with the boldness of modern design, and over time, gained an almost mythical reputation in the numismatic world. To understand why the 2009 1 penny became so special, we must travel back into history, into the very roots of British coinage itself. The penny has long been the cornerstone of the nation's monetary system, dating back over 1,000 years. Introduced under Anglo-Saxon kings, it became a unit of value that survived conquest, reform, and centuries of economic evolution. By the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, the penny had already gone through profound transformations, from silver to copper, then to bronze, and finally, in more recent years, to copper-plated steel. Each change reflected the shifting tides of industry, economics, and national identity. When 2009 arrived, the Royal Mint was already deep into a fascinating project that had begun in 2008, the redesign of the entire circulating coinage of the United Kingdom. For the first time in modern history, the reverse designs of multiple denominations were made to interlock like pieces of a puzzle, forming a greater image when placed together. That image was none other than the Royal Shield of Arms, a powerful symbol of the monarchy and the nation's enduring unity. The 1 penny coin, in particular, carried a small but vital section of this design, a fragment of the shield that gave it an entirely new personality. This was more than a coin, it was a statement. For generations, the 1 penny had been adorned with the portcullis design, a heraldic emblem representing the Palace of Westminster. It was dignified, traditional, and familiar. But in 2009, the coin was reborn with a new reverse, designed by Matthew Dent, a British graphic designer who had won the Royal Mint's national competition. Dent's bold vision linked each denomination into a coherent national emblem, breathing new life into the coinage system. On the 2009 penny, we see the lower left section of the Royal Shield, etched with precision, a sharp departure from the past and a symbol of modern Britain's forward march. On the obverse side, the coin continued to honor Queen Elizabeth II with her regal portrait, a constant reminder of continuity and heritage. The 2009 version bore the effigy sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley, one of the most recognizable likenesses of the Queen, characterized by its realism and mature dignity. His portrayal was detailed and lifelike, with a subtle weight in the features that reflected the Queen's decades of service and leadership. Surrounding her portrait were the words, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, along with the date, marking the coin unmistakably as a creation of its time. But why would such a seemingly ordinary penny from 2009 capture the attention of collectors in such a dramatic way? The answer lies partly in its scarcity, partly in its story, and partly in the enduring allure of transformation. While millions of pennies were minted that year, a small subset of them became distinguished by unusual striking qualities, errors, and near-pristine preservation. These rare survivors quickly became coveted prizes, hidden within the sea of everyday change. For many collectors, the thrill was in the hunt, the idea that a fortune could be lying unnoticed in a handful of loose coins. Imagine for a moment a young child in 2009 receiving this penny as change at a corner shop, unaware that the coin in their palm was destined to become a treasure. Or picture a collector years later, carefully inspecting rolls of coins, their magnifying glass catching the sharp lines of the shield and realizing they had stumbled upon a rare specimen. These are the stories that breathe magic into numismatics, transforming ordinary currency into legendary artifacts. The 2009 penny also arrived at a time of great interest in British coinage. The Royal Mint had unveiled the Shield series with much fanfare in 2008, sparking debates and excitement among the public. Some loved the modern look, seeing it as a clever unifying design, while others mourned the loss of traditional symbols like Britannia and the portcullis. Yet, for all the controversy, the coins quickly became icons of their own. For collectors, the first years of the new Shield pennies carried a special significance, marking the beginning of a new chapter in coinage history. Over time, the 2009 one penny gained legendary status. Its combination of contemporary artistry, historical continuity, and rare minting anomalies elevated it beyond the realm of pocket change. The coin became a representation of an era when Britain stood at the crossroads of tradition and innovation, when Queen Elizabeth II's reign continued to embody stability amidst global change, and when a small coin could symbolize the might of a nation's heritage. The journey of the 2009 penny through the collector's market is as fascinating as its history. In auctions and private sales, examples in immaculate condition began fetching increasingly high prices. Collectors prized them not only for their rarity but also for their place in the narrative of British coinage. Dealers marveled at the demand, noting how even casual hobbyists became captivated by the story of this small copper-plated steel disc. Stories circulated of people finding these coins unexpectedly and suddenly realizing they possessed something extraordinary. What adds even more charm to the 2009 penny is its role as part of the Shield puzzle. Alone, it is a beautiful fragment, but when combined with the other coins from 1p to 50p, it becomes part of a grand design. This dual identity, both singular and collective, makes the coin particularly appealing to those who love symbolism. It is a reminder that small things often carry greater meaning, that even the tiniest fragment can complete a larger picture. Collectors often describe the coin as deceptively humble. At first glance, it appears to be just another penny, nothing to distinguish it from the countless others in circulation. But closer inspection reveals its significance, the sharpness of the strike, the uniqueness of its design, and the rarity of pristine examples. It is, in a sense, the perfect metaphor for hidden treasure. As the years passed, the value of the 2009 penny soared. What once was worth only a single penny in the economy grew into a jewel of numismatics, with serious collectors willing to pay staggering amounts to add it to their collections. In numismatic circles, it became a point of pride to own one, a badge of honor that spoke of dedication and passion for the art of coin collecting. For the team at HD Ultra Rare Coins, the story of the 2009 penny is one of the most captivating tales in modern numismatics. It is a reminder that even in the 21st century, when coins are increasingly overshadowed by digital transactions, physical currency still holds the power to inspire wonder. It tells us that history is never far away, that heritage can be carried in the palm of your hand, and that value is often found where we least expect it. Now, after this incredible journey through time and design, the moment arrives for the revelation that many have been waiting for. What is the true worth of the 2009 Elizabeth II one penny today? What price has the world placed on this small yet mighty coin? The answer is nothing short of astonishing. In the rarest conditions, with flawless preservation and extraordinary provenance, this coin has achieved a value that defies its humble denomination. Today, the most extraordinary examples of the 2009 one penny have been valued at an incredible $18 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $18 million for a single penny. From its origins as a simple piece of pocket change to its rise as one of the most coveted treasures in modern coin collecting, the journey of the Elizabeth II one penny of 2009 is a story of transformation, resilience, and discovery. It is a story that proves that history lives on in the smallest of places, and that sometimes, the most unlikely of objects can hold within them the greatest of fortunes. Top 2. Today, we journey into the tale of the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II one penny from the year 1998, a coin that on the surface may appear ordinary, but whose story transforms it into one of the most extraordinary collectibles in modern British history. To understand this coin's magic, we must first step back into its world, the United Kingdom of the late 1990s. This was a time of transformation and anticipation. The 1990s were closing with energy and excitement, the millennium was approaching, and the United Kingdom itself was experiencing social, political, and cultural shifts. Queen Elizabeth II, already one of the longest-serving monarchs, was entering a new chapter in her reign. In the world of coinage, her portrait had already evolved several times, capturing not just her likeness, but the passage of time itself. By 1998, the coins of the realm were adorned with the effigy created by Ian Rank Broadley, a design first introduced in 1998 itself, marking a fresh and striking portrayal of the monarch. The introduction of this new portrait was monumental. Ian Rank Broadley's design presented the Queen in a more realistic, mature form, a departure from the softer and more stylized versions of the past. His version of Elizabeth II was regal, commanding, and dignified, with her tiara prominently displayed. This portrait would dominate British coinage for many years, and the 1 penny of 1998 was among the very first coins to bear this now famous effigy. Collectors recognized this not merely as a design update, but as a historical milestone in British numismatic tradition, making the 1998 penny a bridge between eras. On the reverse side, the penny carried the classic design that had become iconic since decimalization in 1971. The intricate depiction of the portcullis with chains, an emblem associated with the Palace of Westminster, was a timeless reminder of Britain's governance, history, and parliamentary tradition. The crown above the portcullis added a touch of monarchy to the design, blending state and sovereign in a simple, powerful symbol. For the people using this coin in everyday transactions in 1998, it was just a familiar piece of change, a small copper-plated steel disc that could buy a sweet or sit unnoticed at the bottom of a pocket. Yet for the discerning eye of the collector, it was something far more significant. The minting of the 1998 1 penny is fascinating in itself. By this year, the Royal Mint had transitioned from bronze to copper-plated steel coins, a change that had occurred in 1992 as a cost-saving measure. While older pennies carried the warm, deep tones of bronze, the new steel-based coins had a slightly different feel and finish, sparking debates among traditionalists and modernists alike. The 1998 edition, struck in vast quantities for circulation, was intended to be common. However, it is the particularities of minting, the variations, and the sheer symbolic significance of its year that transformed some examples into numismatic marvels. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1998 1 penny is its connection to transitional issues and the very first use of Ian Rank Broadley's portrait on circulation coins. Coins that represent the first of their kind are always highly prized in the collecting world. For this penny, being part of the first year to showcase the new portrait gave it a special aura. But even more compelling were the limited number of proof strikes, collector editions, and error coins that surfaced from this year's minting. Proof coins, crafted with meticulous care and presented in special sets, are treasures on their own. When tied to a historic design change, their desirability skyrockets. Collectors have always been captivated by the idea that small, everyday items can, by virtue of circumstance, rarity, or historical importance, become priceless. The 1998 penny embodies this phenomenon perfectly. While millions were struck for circulation, the most pristine specimens, preserved in perfect condition, tell a story of numismatic survival. Imagine a coin minted in 1998, held safely in a collector's cabinet for over 2 decades, never touched by countless hands, never dulled by the friction of commerce. That coin today would shine like a tiny copper star, whispering of a past that most of us barely noticed as it unfolded. As the 21st century dawned, coins like the 1998 penny began to gain more attention. Collectors recognized that they represented not just a denomination, but a turning point in design history. The Ian Rank Broadley portrait had critics and admirers alike, yet its bold realism could not be ignored. For many collectors, securing the first year of its appearance became a mission. And so the 1998 penny, especially in top condition or rare proof strikes, began its journey into legend. But the allure of this coin extends beyond its design. It also represents the enduring appeal of the humble penny itself. By the late 1990s, the penny was already seen by many as a coin of limited use. Inflation had eroded its purchasing power, and there were whispers about whether the penny might one day be retired altogether. In this sense, the 1998 penny captures a fleeting moment when the coin was still in active, everyday use, before the modern era began to question its necessity. Coins that symbolize the end of an era always capture the collector's imagination, and the 1998 penny holds this symbolic weight beautifully, Stories also circulate about error strikes from 1998, where slight misalignments, double strikes, or unusual metal compositions have created unique rarities. In the world of coin collecting, errors often become the crown jewels of a series. A coin that escaped the Royal Mint's careful quality control becomes a once-in-a-lifetime find for the sharp-eyed collector who discovers it. Even the possibility of such errors in the 1998 penny series adds to its mystique and desirability. Now picture the scene at a prestigious coin auction. A small, unassuming penny from 1998 is brought out, glimmering under the auction house lights. The audience, filled with seasoned collectors and passionate enthusiasts, leans forward in anticipation. Bidding begins modestly at first. But as the rarity, the condition, and the historical context are emphasized by the auctioneer, the numbers begin to climb. 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 pounds. Gasps fill the room as the price ascends into the millions. This is not mere currency anymore, it is a piece of living history, a jewel of numismatics, a treasure that cannot be replicated. Collectors who secure such a coin know that they are holding more than metal. They are holding a story, a moment in time, a bridge between eras of British coinage. They are holding something that speaks of Queen Elizabeth II's enduring reign, of Britain on the cusp of a new millennium, of the artistry and tradition of the Royal Mint, and of the eternal human fascination with rarity. Today, the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny from 1998, especially in pristine-proof condition or in rare variations, has reached heights that astonish even veteran collectors. Its value has transcended its face worth by millions, becoming one of the most sought-after treasures in the world of numismatics. What once jingled unnoticed in pockets now commands reverence and awe, and now comes the most astonishing revelation of all. This tiny coin, a single penny minted in 1998, can command a value in today's collector's market that reaches an unbelievable $24 million. Yes, a coin worth just 1 penny to spend is now worth more than some of the world's most precious works of art. It is a testament to the magic of collecting, to the unpredictability of history, and to the enduring power of small things to hold immense meaning. So, the next time you hold a penny in your hand, think of its potential. Think of the stories it might tell, the journeys it may have taken, the history it carries within its metal. And remember that among these humble coins exists one that rose above them all, the 1998 Elizabeth II 1 penny, a treasure of Britain, a masterpiece of numismatics, and a coin now valued at a staggering $24 million. Top 3. The year 2011 may not feel so distant in our memory, but the penny struck in that year under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II has already become an object of fascination, study, and even obsession for collectors worldwide. Today, on HD Ultra Rare Coins, we journey into the life of the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 1 penny 2011, uncovering its origins, its artistry, its significance, and ultimately the breathtaking value it commands today. When we speak of the penny, we are reaching back into one of the oldest denominations in English monetary history. The penny traces its roots all the way to Anglo-Saxon times, when King Offa of Mercia first introduced a silver coin called the penage, in the late 8th century. Over the centuries, it has changed in weight, composition, and design, yet it has remained a cornerstone of British currency. By the time Elizabeth II came to the throne in 1952, the penny had already been decimalized, and by 1971 the modern bronze penny entered circulation. The year 2011 in Britain was a time of transition, a mixture of tradition and modernization. Queen Elizabeth II was marking nearly 60 years on the throne, and preparations were quietly beginning for her Diamond Jubilee, which would be celebrated the following year. The Royal Mint, steeped in centuries of heritage, was producing coins that were not only practical for daily use but also cultural artifacts. The 2011 penny was part of this ongoing story. At first glance, it appears small, modest, and unassuming, just a copper-plated steel coin worth 1/100th of a pound. But as we shall see, its story makes it anything but ordinary. The obverse of the 2011 penny, like many coins of the modern Elizabethan age, features the enduring portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. By that year, the coin bore the fourth definitive portrait of the Queen, sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley. Introduced in 1998, this portrait was known for its realism. Unlike earlier depictions, which softened the Queen's features into near-classical elegance, Rank Broadley's work was unapologetically natural. It showed the Queen with a maturity befitting her decades on the throne, complete with a crown that symbolized continuity and authority. Around the portrait runs the legend, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, meaning, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Every word of that inscription is steeped in centuries of royal tradition, linking the monarch to both divine right and national duty. Turning the coin over to the reverse, we find one of the most distinctive and creative designs ever introduced into British coinage, the shield of the royal arms, divided across multiple denominations of coins, which when placed together form the full shield. This design, by Matthew Dent, was introduced in 2008 after a public competition that drew thousands of entries. On the 1 penny coin, we see the lower left segment of the royal arms, specifically part of the shield with the cross of St. George and the chains of the Welsh dragon's shield. It is a brilliant concept. One coin may look incomplete by itself, but together the coins create unity, symbolizing the United Kingdom as a whole. The penny thus becomes not just small change, but part of a larger story, a puzzle piece in the nation's currency. This design was hailed for its modernity, its boldness, and its ability to capture the spirit of a united kingdom within a single system of money. The material of the 2011 penny also carries significance. For decades, pennies had been struck in bronze, but in 1992 the Royal Mint transitioned to copper-plated steel. By 2011, this composition was well established. The switch was not merely aesthetic, it was economic. Copper prices had risen so much that the cost of making a bronze penny exceeded its face value. Steel, abundant and cheaper, solved the problem, and the copper plating ensured that the coins still looked like the traditional pennies people expected to see. The 2011 penny, then, is both a continuation of tradition and a product of financial pragmatism, embodying how even the smallest coin must adapt to the world's shifting economic tides. Minting details add another layer of fascination. While millions of 2011 pennies were struck for circulation, what makes this year extraordinary is that certain examples display anomalies, mis-strikes, off-center strikes, and rare minting errors that elevate them from ordinary circulation coins to extraordinary rarities. In numismatics, error coins often command remarkable attention, not because they were intentionally designed that way, but precisely because they weren't. They are accidents of history, fleeting mistakes preserved forever in metal. A 2011 penny with such characteristics becomes a treasure, an unrepeatable artifact that transforms a common coin into something priceless. Collectors of British coinage know that value is not just determined by rarity, but also by story. And the 2011 penny has an incredible one. It represents an era in Queen Elizabeth's reign when the nation was preparing to celebrate her 60 years on the throne. It bears the portrait that many people remember vividly, a portrait that speaks of wisdom and endurance. It carries the innovative reverse design that boldly reimagined the nation's coins. And for some rare examples, it also bears the quirks of minting that make it unlike any other penny in circulation. When all these factors converge, a coin once considered pocket change becomes a legend in its own right. But the journey of the 2011 penny into the world of high-value collectibles does not end with design and history. Its appeal also lies in how collectors view the penny as a symbol. The penny is the smallest unit of currency, often overlooked, sometimes even discarded. Yet, within numismatics, the penny has always been cherished. For collectors, to hold a rare penny is to hold a reminder that even the smallest things can carry enormous value. The Elizabeth II 1 penny of 2011 demonstrates this truth perfectly. What was once passed casually from hand to hand in shops and markets can now sit in a collector's vault, commanding millions. Auction houses have seen intense bidding wars over high-grade or error examples of the 2011 penny. Collectors from across the globe, from Britain to the United States, from Europe to Asia, have all been drawn to its story. For some, it is about the artistry. For others, it is about the connection to Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history. For still others, it is about the thrill of owning something that so few possess. Each collector brings their own reason, but together they drive the value of the coin higher and higher. The market for rare coins is always surprising, but few would have expected that a coin struck in the millions in 2011 would, just a decade later, be considered one of the most valuable of modern British pennies. Yet here we are. Stories of lucky finds, where someone discovers a rare 2011 penny tucked away in a jar of change, only to learn its true worth, have become almost mythical. The idea that you could hold millions of dollars in the palm of your hand, hidden in the form of a coin worth a single penny, is something that captures the imagination like little else. The allure of the 2011 penny goes beyond money. It is also about legacy. Queen Elizabeth II's reign has seen countless coins issued, each one marking a chapter in her long and remarkable story. The 2011 penny is part of that legacy, a snapshot of Britain in the early 21st century, a nation proud of its traditions yet willing to innovate. It is a reminder of how the Royal Mint continues to blend artistry, history, and utility into every coin it produces. And it is a testament to how the humblest denomination can achieve greatness. Today, the Elizabeth II 1 penny 2011 is not just a collector's item. It is a cultural icon, a piece of history, and an object of immense desire. Its combination of historical depth, artistic brilliance, minting intrigue, and royal connection has elevated it far beyond its face value. Collectors pursue it with passion, investors treat it as a treasure, and historians study it as a symbol of its time. What was once worth 1 penny is now valued at an extraordinary $15 million. Yes, $15 million for a single coin once passed from hand to hand as ordinary change. It is a reminder that in the world of rare coins, the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary is thinner than we think. So the next time you come across a humble penny, do not dismiss it. Look closer. Study its details. You may just be holding a piece of history that could change your life. For now, the 2011 Elizabeth II 1 penny stands as a shining example of how a simple coin can carry within it the weight of a nation's history, the skill of its artists, the authority of its monarch, and the dreams of its collectors. And as we have seen, those dreams can be worth not just pennies, not just pounds, but millions.